welcome back to the Always Reading Book Club. It is your girl Kiki Reader, and we are going to dive right back into our fic series. If you haven't caught up on all the book reviews, there's 4. I'm going to put those links down in the description portion below, and we're going to jump into the 5th and final book. It is called Fics Forever. So the book starts off with a note. And it's addressed to Hudson Pierce. And it says, "You act so high and mighty, you and your perfect pregnant wife Elena, with your perfect child and your perfect home. You weren't always perfect. Your past is filled with misdeeds. Does your wife know all your secrets? Would she stand behind you if she did? You think because she's on bed rest you can protect her? How sweet. Sleep tight, you two." From an old friend. So this book is going to start 7 years after Elena and Hudson have been together. They have a 4-year-old named Mina, and then they have a set of twins. I think one's named Brent, and the other one, I want to say Holden. But they have a set of twins. So Elena is she's on maternity leave, and she's kind of panicking because Hudson's younger brother, Chandler, he's marrying a woman named, in French, they would say Genevieve. Here, I guess we would say Genevieve. I don't like Genevieve, so I'm going to use the French pronunciation, Genevieve. So he's going to marry her. She's actually the stepdaughter of Celia, because Celia is not married to a man named I think it's James or Edward. His last name is Fassbender. So this is her stepdaughter. So Elena's concerned, and I get it, being especially that she feels like, she could be playing a long game. And somehow this is meant to try and hurt them. So Hudson just kind of points out that, he tried to stop the relationship before he saw how much Chandler really liked this woman, and that's when he kind of backed off. And actually Elena was the one that kind of was convincing him, give him a chance, he seems to really like her. And so, but she wasn't expecting this outcome. She was thinking, they're probably going to date for a little bit and that'll be it. So we find out that the Adora Club, which is the one in Atlantic City, 3 of the managers are accused of sexual misconduct. David Lent is one of them. And so they have to decide on if they want to fire just the 3 managers and close the club and then try and reopen in about a year, or if they're going to try and completely revamp it, give the workers a really good severance, encourage them to reapply when they reopen the club. And so while they're kind of making this decision, he's in the room with Norma, and they're trying to make that decision. He's gotten that letter, but also Celia is the one that's going to be throwing the engagement party. So his first mindset, of course, is to try and fix everything before it gets to Elena, right? So he calls Celia. And he's like, don't try and be mean and put us in the back. We are Chandler's family. I need to approve that seating chart, before it's finalized. And so she kind of agrees, but she also wants something in return. Because remember, he's still the majority shareholder of Warner Enterprises that once belonged to Celia's father. So Celia, she's married to the Fassbender man. He has some points or something like that in the company, but it's not enough, of course, to overtake Hudson. So she's trying to kind of negotiate too, to make it equal for them both. So maybe they could be equal partners, but he doesn't want to do that because then there's no leverage. And he needs to keep leverage over Celia. So he tells her the proposal she provided. He's like, I'll think about it, but he wasn't going to give in. So we find out that after Elena had the twins, girl had a really bad relapse. Okay, so on top of dealing with like postpartum, her already obsessive compulsive type of disorder, she went a little haywire. So basically, she kept washing everything repeatedly. Nothing could be clean enough. She kind of made the poor nanny's life's hell. She's like, you're not cleaning it good enough. This isn't good enough. Like, it was just her obsession on overload, and she couldn't control it. And at first, Hudson kind of chalked it up to, it's probably just the stress of having the twins, and, she'll be okay. Until the heifer showed up at the job. And she had one baby on her arm, the other one's in the the twins in the stroller. And she was like, we've got to move right now. She looked a hot mess. Hair wasn't done. She was looking crazy. And she's like, we've got to move. She's like, it's not safe. We've got to move. And that's when he realized, oh, I got to get my baby some help. Like, it had really gone. Because she almost refused to go back. Like, it was bad. So she is actually now friends with Gwen. They're actually really close. Gwen has 3 kids as well. She's married to a guy named JC. Really good marriage. Totally loving the guy. Adores her to death. And so she comes over different times, just to spend time with Elena, but also because, like, they're friends. And Elena has some ideas about the club that she wants to do, this expansion. So, of course, she's going to go over with Gwen. Hudson receives another letter. So that first one that I read in the beginning, that one came about 6 months ago, right? So the next letter, it was a photo of Elena on a park bench, and there was a note on the back that just simply stated, to the Pierces. And it was the same handwriting from that other note. So there's a pattern going on. So that evening, they went to an event, and while speaking to Gwen and Mira, Elena has some hang-ups about her body now. She's only like a size larger than what she was before, and the woman was small. So it's like, come on. But she's a little worried. She's had 3 children that, he doesn't find her attractive because they haven't had sex in like 5 days. But it's not because he doesn't want her. It's because they got kids, and it's a constant thing. Like, these are small kids, We're talking about twins that are less than a year old and then a 4-year-old. So that's what it is. It doesn't have anything to do with him not wanting her. But, this is Elena. Elena's obsessive. And when she gets an idea, she obsesses on it. So there's some women that are kind of looking and gawking at Hudson because he's still, he's older, but he's still, an attractive man. And so she starts to feel, of course, jealous. And it makes her feel fat, because she has to go up one size bigger than what she was used to. So she starts to spiral. And then she sees Hudson talking to a woman. And, of course, she's going to go up to him because the woman's attractive. And she has, like, her breasts all out and everything. So she goes up. We find out that the woman is Christina Brooks. It's now Rodham. So, remember, Christina was the friend that was Celia's friend that had screwed Hudson. And Celia had walked in on them. When they get away from her, of course, the first thing that comes out of Elena's mouth, did you fuck her? And he's like, yeah, I did when I was a kid. But I remember he fucked her as an adult. Like, I thought they were out of college and he was still banging that girl. So I'm like, I think that was a little white lie. So the next day, Hudson has a meeting with Jordan, which, the head of his security. Now, this is on a Saturday, right? And so, of course, Elena notices it because it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. Jordan's normally not in the apartment, the penthouse, 8 o'clock in the morning. So she, of course, goes on alert, and she's like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? Because she did notice the previous night he kept checking his phone. he kept, she was just like, something's going on and he's not telling me. And, that's one person you cannot not tell, because her brain will just go everywhere. So of course he's not ready to tell her about anything. So because he's trying to protect her, so it's like, if I see you spiral out of control, like, if you think that there's a threat on the family, you're gonna fucking spiral. So I understand why he was just trying to handle it. So he tells her no, he's just over because we're just doing the weekly security review. And so security had been beefed up ever since he got in the first letter. But I think because she had so much going on, she couldn't pay attention to it. But that seemed plausible to her. So she kind of, okay. But in the back of her brain, she's still like, something's going on. So while they're in the meeting, we find out that they've been receiving letters for pretty much over the years. So Jordan wants to get the FBI involved. Hudson doesn't want to do that because of all the things that he's done in his past. He's terrified of that stuff to come to light. So Jordan was like, I got an idea. Let's kind of set up a sting, Let's try and get information out of possible, suspects. So what he does is he has Allison, who's a security team. She's going to act as if she's writing this tell-all book about Hudson. And so they call a guy named Isaac, who Hudson had met at the Stern Symposium. That, intrigued me. And he had lured him away from another lucrative offer, and even kind of forced the guy to sell a patent. The guy had an invention, and he forced the guy to sell the invention to him for only $100,000 because he had blackballed the guy. So he had basically, in the business world, like Hudson rules the business world, right? So if Hudson says you're trash, you're trash. So he basically did that to this guy because this was a part of a game when he was playing that game of ruining people's lives and see how they react. He made the guy sell him the invention for the $100,000, and then he never did anything with it. Put it in a file, never did anything with it. So the guy developed like a really bad cocaine problem, and he'd been to rehab twice for it. He probably turned to the drug because of all the stress that he was under about the finances. So of course his marriage suffered, and that probably led to him getting, doing cocaine as well. A lot of stuff was going on. And so his wife left him even after he's the one that caught her in the bed with another man. And Hudson just felt awful, like, hearing this stuff, because he, of course, was in another room and he was listening, he was watching, and he felt awful, like, I did that to someone. I just still don't understand. Like, I get, like, his family was, like, fundamentally, like, not normal and had issues, but that is insane to me that he wanted to, like, literally destroy people's lives to see how they react. I don't know. That's just freaking awful. So then, after hearing everything that man endured, he set up, so that the guy would get like he had it set up so he'd get $4 million, and then whatever that patent was worth. But I'm just kind of like, you supposed to have been on the straight and narrow for like the past 7 fucking years. So you couldn't think about the shit that you done to people? I guess sometimes when you treat people bad, you want to put it out your mind. But I'm like, you could have been helped this man. Like, that's just kind of, I ain't like that. That's just so shitty. So then Elena gets a call from Sophia because she's heard a rumor that the oldest daughter, Mina, she's not going to get into this prestigious school called the New Park Elementary School. And like all of the Pierce children have gone through there. And apparently the child's not going to be let in due to unsatisfactory parentage. So Elena thought it was because of her, because, she's not from that pedigree, and, she has a past. And so she's thinking this is about her. And she's like, how horrible, for that to be the reason. So of course she packs the kids up. She gets in her, they get in the stroller, and she goes down to the school. And so that was funny. Is all outdoors. I was like, because I could just imagine that, just watching her like, I'm finna get my